Hey everybody, Brian here again, back for another walk and talk. Feels like it's been a long time since my last video, and there's a lot of good reasons for that. I won't get into it now. I feel I'm back on the mend. Doing pretty well at work right now. In fact, that's been one of the bright points the past few months, the way work has been. Today, I am back at an old haunt, retracing my steps from an old episode when I was riding my bike through here. My goal today is to hit the Wal-Mart, get myself an Olipop, have a little bit of fun with it, get a snack. Earlier today, my wife and I went to a festival, the Johnny Appleseed Festival, which was kind of a local figure, folklore figure, this area, the surrounding states, Illinois. I think a little bit of Michigan and Ohio were connected with Johnny Appleseed in one way or another. But you know how it is, one of those old-timey apple fritter, old-timer singers and all that stuff. It's fun, but I've been going to it off and on all throughout my life. And it's only gotten bigger and more crowded. Don't know if I liked it today. The temperature is right for me, not so much for my wife. It's about 88 degrees right now. Pretty cool for late September here. And I'll take it, considering how long it took for us to get warm weather after the winter blast we had, where it seemed like every single day was nasty. But that's been my day. Hopefully you're doing well today too. So let's talk about the W. A lot of things have been happening. I'll tell you what, my last episode, I made some predictions about the games, and some of them were spot on. I had a good idea about the Liberty going into the playoffs, but if you happen to watch that game against Phoenix, they tried real hard, but it just didn't happen. But, and I apologize for the road noise here. I'm going to be turning up where the park is, cut through the grass. But if you remember me talking about the Liberty, you know that I am pro New York. I respect the franchise. I think Brondell is a great coach. However, I don't buy the idea of what New York has been doing by creating what I would call a super team. Brianna, Sabrina, Jonquel, Natasha. They're all very, very good players. I completely admit that. I just don't buy them together. And what did we hear about this team all year? Well, I mentioned it before. First game of the season, full strength. They won their game. All right. After that, players got hurt, one after another. When we get hurt, they come back. Oh, here's another person getting hurt. Over and over and over again all season. Then when they finally get full strength, it just didn't seem to work. I don't know what it is. But if you look at the stat line for yesterday's game, I believe it was 73 points for the Liberty. Brianna had 30. Sabrina had 22. There's no one else with double-digit points. So they had 52 points out of the 73. 21 went to everybody else. What were they doing? Putting in a lot of minutes. If you're a starter, if I remember right, Brianna had like 37 minutes. That's just ridiculous. It tells me they rely way too much on her. Now, I do think she should be headlining that team with Natasha. I wouldn't mind if Sabrina left, found a better home. And I wouldn't mind if Jonquel left, found a better home. They're two extraordinary players. I think they deserve a chance somewhere else. Phoenix, They're a hard team to peg down. Alyssa's great. If you need a triple-double, look for her. I don't know if their style of play is going to necessarily get over on Minnesota, but I think it should be a good match with the Lynx. As you know, I'm a fan of Minnesota. Today I wore my Bridget Carlton jersey out and about at the festival, hoping to bait out maybe a native Minnesotan here in Indiana, but to no avail. I found somebody with a Twins shirt, but I don't think they noticed what I was wearing. But anyways, I watched that Lynx game, their second game against the Valkyries. I figured they would win both games 1 and 2, and they did. That game 2, jeez, that was tight, but it's happened before. Earlier in the season, the Lynx played the Sun, and Connecticut, for whatever reason, they had everything going for them. Just a wonderful balance of offense and defense, and the defense for Connecticut eventually became their calling card. They showed it well in that game, and I was legitimately worried that they were going to beat the Lynx, but in typical fashion, Minnesota found a way to bring it together, work as a team, hint, hint, New York, and get it done, and not be embarrassed by the Connecticut Sun. It was kind of the same thing with Golden State. Now, the difference is, I get the impression, when it concerns fan bases, right now, at least if you measure it up to the point of the Valkyries leaving the playoff series, they have probably one of the most colorful fan bases out there. Really impressive. I like Golden State quite a bit. I support them too. I want them to do, as well as they possibly can. And they deserve it. I think they're a quality team. But there's something about them, and it really just pertains to this particular season, that I don't necessarily agree with. And it's a minor quibble, because I'm not really into awards. I don't care too much about that, but if we're being real about these seasonal awards, I don't know how I feel about, I keep getting her name wrong, but I'm going to say Nakase, the coach for the Valkyries, winning Coach of the Year. Now, I know exactly why they did that. Hey, it's an expansion team, first season, makeshift team, put together by, various players from around the league, a few draft picks here and there. They weren't supposed to do well. Oh, come to find out, they're pretty good all along. I get it. I just don't feel that is Coach of the Year worthy. And here's why. If you look at, I think I might turn around here for a second. If you look at the other teams and see what's been going on with them, kind of I'll call the tribulations of what they've been going through, I think it's a very hard case to make that when it concerns Coach of the Year, there is anybody better than Stephanie White. Here's why. Going into the season, Indiana was expected to be a major player in the playoffs. I mean, major. Caitlin's back, full health. Team is gelling around her. High expectations. We didn't have high expectations for Golden State. We expected them to be pretty mediocre. And in fact, to be honest, they were. You look at that record, it wasn't pretty. There's only one team with what I felt was an incredible record, and that was Minnesota. Everyone was a considerable number of losses behind. So when you look at the ending of this season, the records, my God, beyond Minnesota, it's just a glut of, what I call the mediocre middle. And that's where they were. There's only 12 teams in the league. There's probably a good chance, if you're just mediocre, that you're going to get into the playoffs. And they did. They squeaked in. I still think Washington is probably a better team, but hey, they dropped an egg to finish their season. They're out. And it took that to get the Valkyries in. But we're going to give the Coach of the Year to Nakase. Now, look at Indiana. They were expected to be great, but that was with the idea that everyone was full strength. Well, as we saw, basically everybody went out. If you look at the injury list right now, there's, I believe, 6 or 7 players that are done. Yet when he watched them play, in fact, if you watch that Atlanta game, Fever Dream, that last game, Indiana just took it to them. I mean, they played with a heck of a lot of energy, a lot of purpose, a lot of drive. That's what I want to see in a championship winner, and that's what they did. They went into that horrid court, that dark gray court of the dream, and won the game. I was not expecting that. I thought their end would come in the first round, but there they go, proving me wrong. When it concerns Coach of the Year, I know it's a seasonal thing, meaning they don't count the playoffs. Given what Indiana has gone through with the injuries, given what they had to get by way of, emergency contracts and such, have to develop players on the fly. Hey, here comes Odyssey Sims. Here comes Ari McDonald. Oh, she got hurt. Well, who else do we go to? Shea Petty. That's pretty impressive. To have all of your stars on the bench, yet you're still in the playoffs and you got out of the first round. Come on. Even before that, I'd still give the edge to Stephanie White. We know Minnesota's going to be good. We know Reeve is the best coach in the league. Okay. You could even make a case for Becky Hammon. I'd buy it. They were expected to be somewhere in the middle. Look at them now. They get destroyed by Minnesota. And they come back guns blazing. Finishing out the season undefeated. Sure, they dropped a game to Seattle, but they got it back. They're still in. Seattle's out. I just don't think because you're an expansion team in that particular league and you happen to get in the playoffs, that means you're Coach of the Year. No. You didn't suffer the way the other teams did. You weren't extraordinarily good with your record. Being mediocre, that can be an expectation, because that's the way the league tends to go. There's usually 1 or 2 really good teams. There's a big mass there in the middle. And there's those teams that, why even show up? I think they got that wrong. They also gave out Defensive Player of the Year awards. Alana Smith of Lynx, Asia Wilson of the Aces. You're not going to hear any complaints from me. Alana Smith is great under the rim. I love it when she's blocking shots, getting herself in there, getting dirty, getting knocked around. It's great. Offensively, yeah, not too great. Unless she's behind the 3-point line, she can hit him from there. Under the rim, no bounce passes in the air. Yeah, got to keep it up for her. But defensively, anyways, deserving of the award. Asia Wilson, of course, yeah. Still, I got to go with her for MVP. I have to. Until I'm proven wrong. And by the way, Aces and Storm, that was a great series. I didn't think Seattle really had a chance there. I didn't watch their game 3. I had it on a simulcast, sort of play-by-play viewing thing on my phone. I was watching the scores, like, man, this is really tight. Just one 3-pointer could end this, but nope. Aces squeaked away by one measly point. And after watching the dream go down, I was really hoping the Aces would lose too. Oh man. To have the Aces out of the playoffs, oh, that's a win for Minnesota in itself. And I know they struggle with Seattle, but man, to face Asia Wilson, no, I prefer not to. Hey, here's a side story for you. I talked about this before. There's a building over here. It's a safety academy for law enforcement and other entities. Well, they've got this Citizen Police Academy program going on that hasn't been in operation for, I think, about 15, 20 years. They just opened it back up, and they said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to have a 7-week program where we're going to have folks come in. They're going to take these 3-hour classes every Thursday night where they get this deep dive into law enforcement. They get to learn about the K-9 unit. They get to learn about crime scene evidence, sort of SWAT team stuff, the way documentation works for the police department and everything. It's something that I was really interested in. So they put out applications. I went ahead and filled one out. And they said that we're only taking 25 people. So I filled mine out. They asked the question of, why do you want to take part in this? And I answered as honestly as I could, giving a little bit of anecdotal detail, talking about my job and experience and the way I view law enforcement 2025. I thought I gave a really good application, good credentials. They told me that I was denied. However, because of the nature of my application, they would keep me in thought for the next round, because apparently this isn't the only time they're doing it. They're going to be doing it twice a year. So come spring, I might be able to do it then. And I told my wife, because I was pretty confident I would get in, I told her, yeah, I want to be tased. She said, what do you mean? It's like, well, I want to know what it feels like. I'm not willing to commit crimes to do that, but I want to know how it feels to be tased. Because I thought, you know what? If I'm learning about this process from beginning to end, I wouldn't be surprised if they would say, hey, give it a shot. Sure, I'll do it. But alas, shall not be this time around. Maybe next time. I'll remain hopeful. I'm not going to lie, I was looking forward to it. Part of the application, they asked, hey. They didn't say, hey, that's kind of my thing. Hey. They asked, would you be willing to take a 3-hour ride along with a police officer? I didn't waste any time. Absolutely yes. Yes. So hopefully next spring, when they open it back up for another session, I'll be one of the 25. They said they had over 150 applicants. I actually thought it'd be more than that. But, yep, not in the top 25. Maybe next time. But anyways, back to the W. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game. I was geared up today. I was even on their little team store site, and I found that they had a great hoodie that I was looking for when I was there a couple months ago. It wasn't in stock, but now it's in stock. There was a deal on them, and I didn't bite on it because even with the shipping and the tax, it would have wiped out the little deal I would have had, and I didn't want to pay full price for it. It's like, well, I'll be back there next month, in October, of course, for a different reason, but I'm going to go back to the team store. I don't know how I feel about the city of Minnesota, or city of Minnesota. Minneapolis. The state was great. The city, I don't know, I need a little more time there to give a full, proper opinion of it. But I'm going back mid-October. We're going to see the McCartney concert there. It's kind of my wife and I are celebrating our our wedding anniversary by going to that concert. I know it's kind of late for that by over a month, but yeah, it's worth it. Should be fun. But yeah, tomorrow's game. Phoenix is one of those teams, kind of like Seattle, where you don't know who you're getting game to game. Are they going to be shooting the lights out? Is Alyssa Thomas going to be completely running the show? I don't know. Is Kalia Copper going to be able to shoot? I don't know. Sammy Whitcomb, can we trust her from behind the three-point arc? I don't know. I just don't know. Minnesota is one of those fairly reliable teams in that regard. You kind of know what you're getting with them. I wish Courtney Williams were a little more consistent. Natisha Heidemann, she's been really, really good here lately. If she's not careful, she might be considered, playoffs MVP. Nafisa's doing her thing. I still think she's doing a bit too much. I want other players to step up. Bridget, come on. You got to start taking some shots. You get a 3 or 2 here and there, but if you're open, take the shot. I know it's all about assists and team play, but come on, I trust you. Take the shot. It's okay to miss. Try again. I can count on Kayla. Alana, great under the rim. Defense, gotta have it. Here's a distance shot of the academy. I might walk over here, get a front view of it as I dodge cars here. It's relatively quiet out here. Nobody's at the academy, being a weekday. That's it. That's what I was looking forward to visiting every Thursday. Getting some insight about our local law enforcement. There's Wal-Mart over there. I kind of want to keep walking though. Maybe I'll just do another loop or something. But we're heading into the 5-game series across the board. Down to the final 4 teams. I was wrong the first time. I was right about Minnesota. I was a little off on the Liberty. They did win a game, so that made it a little more interesting. Aces won, of course. Pretty obvious. It just seems like the sort of season where the consistent team faces the hot team. Lynx and Aces seems destined. Not going to be surprised that happens, but if you're one of the types that thinks, that underdogs have just as much of a chance of going far, you might say, hey, Indiana, what about them? I didn't expect them to do anything this season. As soon as they started getting the injury bug, I thought they were done. Nope, I was wrong. Come playoff time, oh, certainly Atlanta could beat them. They're a better team. Well, they might be the better team, but they lost. See you, Atlanta. Get a better court, by the way. That gray doesn't work. For this 5-game series, I'm going to take, I think I'm going to take Minnesota in 4. I think Phoenix is going to squeeze out a win. I just can't see Phoenix and Las Vegas in the finals. It doesn't seem right to me. Other side of the board, I think the Aces were given a gift by going up against Indiana. Last time I said that Indiana really didn't have an answer for someone like Brittany Griner, but I had forgotten that Brittany Griner was washed up. I can't wrap my head around this. If you're that big and tall, if you have that much of a physical advantage over your opponent, why are you not just standing there the whole time doing your little hook shots? It just doesn't make sense. What is her deal? But it cost them. I don't know where she's going either. Is she going to play another season? It wasn't as if this season was great. In my view, every season she underwhelms. Yeah, she's older. Come on. It's a horizontal league. There's not a lot of vertical action under the rim. She should have a massive advantage there. I would say Aces in 3, but after this last series, I don't know. I can't make heads or tails in this Indiana team. What they're running on, pure spirit. Stephanie White, again, coach of the year in my view. Is she that good? Is she that good at putting together players, piecing them together like a puzzle, making it work? Apparently. So I think I'm going to stick with that. Won't be surprised if I'm wrong. Lynx in 4, Aces in 3. Lynx and Aces in the finals. Going full 7. That's what I'm going to go with Minnesota being the winner. That's my hope, at least. But what do I know? Just a guy with a camera, a little bit of time on his hands on the weekends. It's a pretty short video this time. I'm still trying to figure out a way to make the fun video that I was talking about before. I have an idea. I just haven't been totally with it. I think I'm getting out of that funk. Maybe in the next episode or 2, I'll try what I wanted to try. Maybe it'll be a massive failure, but that's okay. I've got like 4 viewers. 4 semi-dedicated viewers. Maybe 5 now. That's all right. It's just about you, me, camera, the W, an exciting playoff series now. Hey, what's this? Have a great remainder of your weekend. And go Lynx. Take care.